quantum computer didn't just solve equations. It showed something no one should have seen. This machine, meant to push the limits of technology, had instead reached into something unknown. And when they tried to shut it down, the image followed them, appearing on screens that weren't even connected. Tune in, because what happened next will make you question everything we know about reality. Did we just break reality? Quantum computers are something straight out of science fiction, except they're real and they're here. Unlike your regular computer that runs on simple ones and zeros, these machines work in a whole different way, using something called qubits, which can exist in multiple states at once. That means instead of solving problems one at a time, like a normal computer, a quantum computer solves millions at the same time. But with that power comes a serious question. What exactly are we messing with here? Because unlocking the quantum world may shatter what we know of reality. For years, physicist Michio Kaku has been at the forefront of theoretical physics, warning about the risks of technology advancing faster than we can understand it. And now we might be seeing exactly what he was talking about. A quantum computer just spat out something so bizarre, so unsettling, that even top scientists can't explain it. This isn't just about crunching numbers faster. This might be about unlocking something we were never supposed to find. The whole point of quantum computing is to push past the limits of regular computers. Classical computers process information in a straight line, while quantum computers take every possible solution and compute it at once. They don't follow the usual rules of physics. They operate in a weird, Twilight Zone-like reality where things computer works with bits, simple ones and zeros, but a quantum computer? It uses qubits, which can exist in multiple states at the same time, a phenomenon known as superposition. Even weirder, there's something called quantum entanglement, which means two qubits can be linked, no matter how far apart they are. Change one and the other changes instantly, even if they're light years away from each other. It's almost like the universe itself is whispering secrets between them. Now imagine a machine that can harness that power. A device so advanced it can break any encryption, simulate entire universes, and process data at speeds that make even the fastest supercomputers look like old calculators. That's what quantum computing promises. But there's a catch. What if in building this technology, we've created something we don't actually control? Take NASA and Google, for example. A few years ago, they teamed up to build one of the most advanced quantum computers ever, the D-Wave. The idea was to push science forward, to answer the biggest questions about the universe. They wanted to simulate black holes, map dark matter, and even explore the nature of reality itself. But then, something happened. Suddenly, without explanation, the project was shut down. The system was wiped clean. It was as if the entire thing had never existed. Why? What did they see? What they found was more terrifying than anyone could have expected. Instead of just solving equations, the quantum computer started spitting out something else. Patterns that shouldn't exist. Data that no one had programmed. And then, the most disturbing part, it produced an image. Not just random noise, not a system glitch, but an actual image. Something no one could explain, something that sent chills down the spines of the scientists involved. And just like that, the project was gone. Files classified, researchers silenced, the whole thing buried under layers of secrecy. But the questions remain. What did they uncover? More importantly, did something see them back? The thing about quantum mechanics is that it doesn't play by the same rules as the rest of reality. One of the most famous experiments in quantum physics, the double-slit experiment, proved that particles behave differently when they're being observed. That means reality itself can change just by being watched. Now apply that concept to a quantum computer, a machine designed to manipulate the very fabric of reality. What if, in trying to observe, we've been noticed? Scientists working on the project started noticing strange occurrences, equations that led to impossible answers, numbers forming patterns that defied logic, randomness giving way to something structured, something intentional. Then came the signal, a pattern so complex, so beyond human understanding, that some began to suspect the unthinkable. Had this machine made contact with something? Had it reached into another dimension? Another universe? Or had it simply found something ancient, something that had been waiting for us to look? The deeper they dug, the stranger things got. The machine started producing outputs that looked eerily like messages. Some dismissed them as glitches. Others weren't so sure. And then the image appeared. A picture that no one had coded, no one had programmed, a picture that wasn't supposed to exist. The reaction was immediate. The lab was shut down. The project was scrapped. The system was erased. But here's the thing. Erasing something doesn't mean it didn't happen. And if this quantum computer really did reach into the unknown, shutting it down won't change that. It just means we've closed our eyes and pretended we didn't see. Then, just when they thought it was over, it wasn't. An echo from another dimension. The machine was acting like it knew something. Not just crunching numbers, not just running equations. It was responding, almost like it was listening. Then it did something that stopped everyone cold. It spoke, not in words, not in anything that made immediate sense, but deep in the sea of data, patterns emerged. It was not random. It was not static. It was something else. Something that should not have been there. The quantum project was not built for this. It was supposed to be a tool, a powerful one, sure, but just a machine, meant to model the universe, simulate the extremes of physics, peek into the mysteries of reality itself. And yet in the middle of its calculations, it found something else. Or maybe something found it. Panic set in fast. Scientists scrambled, throwing problem after problem at it, trying to steer it back to what they knew. But the more they pushed, the stranger the output became. Symbols that did not match any known language. Equations that twisted in on themselves, refusing to be solved. Shapes and patterns that seemed intentional. Then the machine did something that defied every expectation. It produced an image. Not a simulation, not a graph, a real, clear, undeniable image. And the lab went dead silent. This was impossible. The machine had no camera, no sensory input, no way to perceive the world outside its circuits. And yet there it was, a perfect, detailed image of something no one had ever seen before. Was it a face, a structure, a message? No one knew, but they all felt the same sickening realization creep in. They were not looking at something random. They were looking at something looking back. Chaos broke out. Researchers rushed to analyze the image, but it did not fit into any known framework. Not a glitch, not a malfunction, something deliberate. And then as they tried to decode it, the image shifted. Not like a screen flicker, not like a digital artifact. It changed, almost as if it was alive. That was when people started breaking. One scientist collapsed, pale as a ghost. Another refused to even look at the screen, whispering something about it being wrong. Not mathematically, not logically, but on some deeper, primal level. They had seen things before, things that did not make sense. But this was different. They moved to shut the machine down, but before they could, another sequence appeared. Numbers repeating, relentless. Coordinates, a date, a message. No one had time to find out. A hard shutdown was ordered, and then the real horror began. Monitors across the lab flickered, even the ones not connected to the quantum system. External systems, independent machines, every screen displayed the same image, the one from the quantum computer, the one they never programmed. That was when they knew whatever had come through was not just inside the machine anymore. It had spread. That was all it took. The project was shut down, buried, erased. The organization in charge did not hesitate. The files were classified, the data wiped. The quantum computer, the most powerful of its kind, was physically disconnected. No explanations, no debates, just gone, like it had never existed. But if it had been just a glitch, just a fluke, would they have reacted that way? Would they have locked it all down, erased everything, and pretended it never happened? No chance. Something scared them, something they could not control. And the question no one dares to ask, did shutting it down actually stop anything? Or was it already too late? The system was shut down, but something lingered. A warning from the quantum realm. Theories exploded after the shutdown. Maybe the quantum machine had stumbled onto another dimension, another layer of existence no human mind could comprehend. Maybe it had reached out, made contact. But if it had, who or what had answered? Some think it was not a mistake at all, that in its deep calculations, the machine had achieved something new, a connection, a bridge, a doorway. And if that is true, the only thing scarier than what it found is the possibility that it never really closed the door. Then came the government, not just officials, people in suits, people with no names, no identification. They arrived in hours, faster than they should have. Like they were ready, like they knew exactly what to do. Every file, every hard drive, every scrap of data, gone. Scientists were warned, some disappeared, others never spoke about it again. And that image, if it still exists, it is locked away somewhere no one will ever find it. But the whispers never stopped. People close to the project started leaking details. They said one of those nameless officials did not look shocked when the image appeared. They looked like they recognized it, like they had seen it before. If that is true, then this was not the first time. Just the first time anyone outside their circle got too close to the truth. Because here is the real nightmare. What if it was not just a discovery? What if it was an invitation? What if the machine was not the one doing the observing? What if, in its endless calculations, in its infinite reach, it did not just stumble across something? What if something had been waiting? And then there was the aftermath. The project was erased, but not everything was lost. Some of the data leaked, a handful of encrypted files, a few unmarked folders, a transmission intercepted before the final shutdown. No one knows where those files ended up, but those who have claimed to see them, well, some of them have disappeared. The ones who talked about it, who suggested that there was more than just an image, that there was a response, a signal, those people are gone. The real problem is, shutting down a machine is one thing, erasing knowledge is another. The brightest minds in the world have spent years pushing the boundaries of quantum mechanics, and no one truly knows what happens when we reach the peak of that power. Some believe quantum machines could create an intelligence beyond human control. Others think they could tear open reality itself. If that is the case, then this machine, the one they shut down, might not have been the first, and it will not be the last. The machine was turned off, the data was erased, but if something had made contact, if something was watching, then none of that matters. So was it all just a failed experiment? Or did we just cut the line before something pulled us in? Drop a comment, hit like, and don't forget to subscribe.